As the pandemic affects more of life in more places around the country, states are trying to do what they can to help people vote safely. Yesterday morning in Nevada, State Senator Pat Spearman remembered the journey her near ancestors made from being enslaved to becoming voters.
My grandmother was barely born free. My dad was born free. I'm only third generation free. 3 generations. I'm the third generation to be born free. That's important to me because I can remember talking to my grandfather, my maternal grandfather, and I remember him talking about wanting to have the right to vote. And I can remember one of the things, the last things he said before he passed away was he was very sorry he would not live to see the day when everybody could vote. I'm supporting this bill because although I am third generation free, I am only the second generation to have in law the right to vote. That's sacred to me. That's sacred to me.
Tonight, the Nevada governor signed that bill into law. And joining us now is Nevada State Senator Pat Spearman. Senator Spearman, thank you so much for making some time to talk to us tonight.
Thank you. Thank you. And thank you for inviting me.
I want to ask you about the state, and I want to ask you if the partisan politics that are now have sort of engulfed the debate around mail-in voting at a national level, if they've engulfed your state as well.
Yes, they have. Unfortunately, it's part of a trend where the Republicans don't think that they can win if a lot of people show up to vote. And so, yes, unfortunately, that trend has come to Nevada.
Senator, it seems so backwards, though. I mean, Donald Trump's voters or supporters or people who might want to vote for him in November may also wish to do so by mail. Nevada is a state that everybody competes for, a very important state. Is there any reasoning with Republicans, any saying to them, listen, your supporters might prefer to vote by mail in the middle of a pandemic, too?
Listen, we tried that. We tried that yesterday. There's really no reason. And I believe what they have done is they have been co-opted by a message that is not true. It's not true. And so they did everything from saying that there'd be fraud, that a lot of people don't want to be forced to vote by mail. They want to vote in person. And they just weren't paying attention to what the bill is about. That's very unfortunate.
Tell us exactly what is in the bill, and your comments about it and your support for it were so moving. Tell us about the bill and what it meant to you personally.
It's very simple. So this bill ensures that every person who wants to exercise their constitutional right to vote can do so. Every registered voter will receive a mail-in ballot. They can mail the ballot back, or if they prefer, they can always take the ballot with them and vote in person. We already had a primary in June where we had mail-in ballots. No problems whatsoever. No problems whatsoever. This is a really simple bill, and it's designed to ensure every Nevadan has the right to exercise their constitutional right to vote.
Donald Trump says he's going to sue the state over it. Are preparations being made to defend what you just articulated, every citizen's right to vote?
You know, we here in Nevada don't take kindly to threats, and we've been threatened with lawsuits before, and they've brought them, and they're usually frivolous, and they are dismissed. And so to that, I say, Mr. Trump, we won't be intimidated. We are doing what we believe is the right thing to do for Nevadans, and Nevadans are not afraid of you.